Hi guys and welcome back to another video. I am Scorpio3. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we are going to be talking about building a sim rig, a custom sim rig from scratch. Now, I am not particularly I'm not particularly that much of a handy person. I used to be a mechanic as a trade, so I do have some experience with tools, but outside of that, never really built much. Not much of a person for creating something and being real specific about it. But when I was looking at sim rigs, I sort of thought to myself, you know, I have the Next Level Racing V2 GT Ultimate here. And as I was trying to add some more stuff to it, I kind of realized that it's not difficult, but it takes a lot of like drilling, a lot of modification work to be done. And obviously with a custom sim rig, you can make it however you like. And especially when you're talking about aluminium profile rigs, which is the kind of rig that we're going to build, yeah, that's what they use these days. And even though you can build I've seen some great solid wooden sim rigs out there. I wanted to go aluminium. I wanted to see if I could build something close to what the pros use, like Sim Labs, or like close to a P1 or something like that that really cost a lot of money. And so I went on the search for the materials because obviously I'd need some profile. And I thought, I don't know if I'd ever be able to find something. And so I had a look around on Facebook Marketplace actually, because I can find some random stuff on there. And I actually come across something which I thought, you know what, this almost looks perfect. This almost looks too good to be true. And I think if you look long and hard enough and you're not in any time frame, you could find something if you just keep looking around. Now, I'll show you what I ended up finding. Let's get that up on the screen. So check this out. Now, I have no idea what these things are, right? I looked at these things and I went, well, that's aluminium profile. And there's a lot of aluminium profile. And what these are, they're 3D printer or like CNC mill type material type, and they're actually hydraulic lifts is what they are. And I don't know what they're used for. Apparently they're used to hold wiring or to lift up heavy wiring or something. Not 100% sure. They do have some actuators on them for something. But anyway, what they are is not important. But I just looked at the profile. Okay, you got 80 by 80 uprights. You got, I think that's 80 by 20 side skirts down there on the base. And when I looked at that base, I was like, holy hell, that's actually pretty close to the base of a rig. That could almost work the way it is. And then I thought that, well, what do we got here? We've got those uprights, which I can use for the sides. And I've got the lifting parts there that I could also use. And also, if you have a look at just behind those lifting horizontal rails, there's even more aluminium there which could be used. And I thought, wow, that's actually pretty cool. But if you actually look even closer, look at these big heavy duty brackets. I was like, yeah. And then look at the heavy duty caster wheels. I was like, I could even put it on wheels. This could be amazing. So this is what I ended up finding. And I was like, you know what? I could use this. I could definitely use this. This looks pretty damn cool and pretty damn close. So this was exceptional. Well, pretty cheap, by the way. They were just trying to get rid of them. And when I got there, I realized that they had a few of them. So yeah, it was a pretty good buy. So what I did, I purchased this. I checked it on my trailer. I bought it home. It was local. It was close to where I live, which is even better. And quite heavy. This thing had some serious weight to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you guys, not so much how I built it, because it took me quite a long time to pull this thing down and really assess as to how I was going to build it. But this was pretty lucky. But also, if you do find some aluminium and you do find good opportunities like this could be something that you guys might be able to do at home and might be able to help you out. So anyway, the next thing what we'll do is we will go into my tiny little garage and I'll show you guys where I'm at and what I've used and where I'm up to. And I'll give you guys a heads up and a little bit of a precursor. I didn't really have to cut much. This almost worked out perfectly. And I mean perfectly. I literally cut 3 pieces. I cut 3 pieces, and it's not exactly to the dimensions as to what a normal sim rig would be, but it's definitely usable, and hopefully it all works out pretty good. So I might even show you guys quickly what I actually used as a template or as an idea. I actually used a YouTube video, which is really helpful to me, and it was by simrigs.com. What I'll do, I might actually link that in the description below, and that'll be really helpful for anyone who's trying to build their own rig, who just wants to know what length materials I need, how many brackets do I need, L-shaped brackets, how many bolts, and just the general gist of a basic 4-minute video that talks you through how to piece it all together and the dimensions, which is awesome. So I'll link that in the description below. And I might also see if I can get that on the screen and show you before we go out and have a look. So let's do that right now. Okay, guys, so what you'll see here is this is simrigs.com, and this is the Exodus, it's called. It's an 80/20 sim rig, and it's the cockpit assembly guide. It's a quick 4-minute video that explains to you what sort of lengths you need, and just to give you a very basic understanding of a sim rig. And you'll notice that what I'll do is I'll hit play on this video. I'm not sure if I can do this. It may be copyrighted, but we'll give it a go. I might turn off the sound. That may help. Okay, so let's hit this up and just watch. So you don't particularly have to like watch it all in depth, because once you understand how all these pieces come together, like 500 mil 40x40 can be any size, but 500 mils the length. Like, it actually talks you through exactly how to build a rig and what sizes and what you're going to need to make it work. So once you know this, we'll get to the end here and just have a quick overview. It pretty much shows you like how many, you just count all these bolts and everything that you need. And then, like, it doesn't get much easier than that. This is probably the perfect diagram for what you would need to piece a rig together if you're building your own. And even if it's out of wood, it doesn't really matter, you know? Like, they're all the same measurements, the same materials. If you want to build a custom rig, this is one way that I would do it. I've seen people do, there you go, that's done. And I've seen people build like, build rigs and do big engineering samples. And if you're going to do something custom and you want to create something specific for yourself, yeah, you're probably better off doing that, using software to create your own design and plan before you start, 100%. But for me, I just want the basic rig, and then I can put the rest together as I go along, and just make additions or make adjustments. So this is the basic setup, and this is a really cool video. I'll link it in the description below. And yeah, so what we'll do now is we'll move on out into the shed, and we'll have a look and see where I'm up to, and I'll show you guys what I needed to cut and how I sort of made it work and what the rig's actually looking like. It's looking solid. So let's check it out, and we'll head out there now. Righto guys, so welcome to my tiny little garage. Now this is absolutely tiny, so I apologise, and I'm also on my phone, so if the audio's average, this would be why. So let's have a quick look at what we've created so far out of the material that we had from the lifts. So here we have the rig. Now all of this, literally all of this was created from that lift. So as we see these pieces here, the big sidebars, this is 80 by 80. That is 80 by 80, really solid material. And it's also extremely thick. I'm not sure if this piece is thick, but it's relatively thick. If it would let me just zoom in, it's relatively thick and it's really solid grade material. So most of these things were pre-cut. I shit you not. So it's insane. So all of these pieces, so you see the two long bars, they were the uprights. You see these bars, these were the uprights, 1 and 2. These side pieces were virtually perfect. These braces here for the seat, they needed 2 millimeters grinded off the ends, literally 2 millimeters, and then they were fine. These uprights that we see here that will hold the wheelbase, these chappies here I had to cut, but I literally just had to cut the top off them. Just cut the top off them from there. And although it did involve cutting, it doesn't really matter how good the cutting is, because you're not going to attach anything from there anyway. So you see my cutting. I don't know if you can see that very clearly, but I'll be honest, it was a pretty terrible job. Like, it's not a very good job at all, but it did the job, right? And I cut that with a handsaw. And it even come with the extra pads, the blocking caps on top, which is awesome. And then also, so we have these two back pieces as well. So the crossbars, one of those, the crossbars there, one of those required 2 millimeters cut off it. That is all. And the other ones were pretty much perfect. The two thick 80 by 80s, they were perfect fit. And then you got the two little uprights there as well. Those two little uprights, they were perfect. They did not need to be cut. And those side panels there, those two pieces that are going to hold the pedals in place, they were also perfect. They did not need to be cut. So I've just mocked up some brackets for now until my brackets come in the mail, which are on their way, so that's exciting. But also, if we have a look here, look at these big brackets in here. See those big brackets? I'm reusing those brackets to support the frame, to actually hold the frame together. You might not be able to see that because it's a bit dark, but in that shadow piece there, that is an L bracket that is holding those two panels together, which is insane. And so that is what's going to support those. And those are heavy duty wheels. Those bad boys are full on. And they're made to hold a lot of weight, a lot more weight than me. And these brackets here were also a part of the system. And they're also L brackets that are supporting those two pieces there. So they're solid metal. They're about 10 mil thick metal. And you see this end, much the same again. We've used that for the wheels, to brace the wheels and to brace that L bracket there. And that is awesome. That is so good. And so the main piece that had to be cut, the one that I was worried about the most, and my third cut, was this piece here, was the piece that actually holds the wheelbase down. Now I had to cut that. I used a grinder to cut that, and to be honest, if you guys are going to cut the aluminium profile, I would highly recommend you use a miter saw and a proper aluminium blade. Do not do what I did and use a hacksaw with an aluminium piece or cutting blade. It didn't quite work, and it's very difficult to get straight, even if you use a box. I'll show you what a box looks like. Even if you use a miter box, something like one of those to cut through, to cut from. See how it has the angles there and the lines for you to cut down. You can see where it veered off and went into the plastic. I would probably recommend not using one of these. Yeah, it just did not work as planned, and it definitely didn't cut straight enough to be quality enough to actually mount the two pieces of aluminium together. And what I ended up having to do was cut it, and it was on a bit of an angle, so I actually had to grind off and square it all up as best that I could. And it's not perfect, it's far from perfect, but if I was going to do it again, I would definitely get a miter saw, and I would definitely use a miter saw, because that will save you in the long run, and it will also make it a lot more structurally sound, and yeah, more solid overall. So use a miter saw, definitely. The other good thing about building with this type of structure and what I purchased is that it actually comes with a lot of things that other producers or creators don't actually build their stuff with. Like this here, this is a rubber pad, and it's a rubber pad and it slides. It literally slides into the railing. So I'll be able to make this an addition to the rack by sliding in rubber padding and sliding that into the rails as well, so people don't hit their legs on it, or if they hit their shins on it, it's not going to hurt as much. And even on the uprights, it could be good for inside the rails there, so you can rest your legs on them, and it won't give you cold legs. But also another good thing that not many people think about, why there is an ambulance flying past my house, extremely loud. Apologise if you can hear that. But another good thing that you do get is a whole heap of leftover pieces. Now you see these leftover pieces here? This has just been left over from the build. But the good part about this is what my plans are to do with this material is build a screen frame, so I can actually bolt my 34-inch monitor if my phone would stop zooming. So the best part about these uprights and having these leftover pieces is that I'm going to use that for a frame for a monitor stand. And I'll be honest, there's actually enough here left over. The perfect heights, they don't even need cutting. That's the crazy part. They do not even need cutting. Let me just grab this stuff. Look at that. Here we go. There is two pieces there, almost the perfect height, and a side piece to bolt onto there to actually give me a monitor stand as well. So that's insane. And that was all just from that piece of material, from that lift that I picked up. It was a ridiculous deal, and I'm just shocked that it worked out the way it did. So that was part one of the sim rig build, and it's all coming together nicely at the moment. The moment of truth is coming, and that will be in part two, which I will get all the bolts, all the brackets, all the T-nuts and everything ready to bolter all together and actually put it in place behind me, actually underneath the loft bed. So it's going to be interesting to see if everything fits. If it all even comes together, is it even going to line up? I have absolutely no idea. It could all just crumble and not work out. And then you've got the fun of bolting all of my equipment, my seat, and everything to the rig, especially the pedals and the bass shakers and everything that you need. It's going to be a huge job, but I'm pretty excited about it. So stick around, subscribe if you'd like to see part two, because that will be coming up hopefully by the end of the week. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys then, and thanks for your time. I hope this was a benefit, and I hope it's given you some ideas on how you guys can create your own rig, or even just, maybe find the same piece of aluminium profile that I've found and use it to your advantage. So thank you guys for checking this video out. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.